Hello and aloha to all the people of the planet. Time is 11:37. Today is 28th of September. My name is Abbas Tamori. I am the elder of Baha'u'llah. He's a special envoy on the planet to advise the Baha'is on the Universal House of Guardianship, the institution of the Universal House of Guardianship, what's in the books, to let them know. As well, I have given the ability, I earned it, and I was licensed by him, to be the interpreter of the writing of Baha'u'llah and Abdu'l-Baha and that of the Shogi Effendi and all other divines' writings. But for which I'm not infallible, however. I'm just an ordinary guy. My specialty is this. So, we are on the sixth valley that has been translated by dear Marzi Gale as the Valley of Wonderment. At the very outset, we have to change this name and we call it the Valley of Bewilderment. Bewilderment really fits the definition as it is given by Baha'u'llah in explaining this valley. Wonderment is not exactly saying that. Wonderment is really surprise, is searching and wandering around. Bewilderment is really not knowing. It's getting astounded, you know. It continues and it's change the word tossed into immersed, and is immersed in the oceans of grandeur, and at every moment his wonder groweth. Not wonder groweth, his bewilderment increases. Now he seeth the shape of the wealth as poverty. I changed it. Now he perceiveth the temple of bounty as the destitution itself, and the essence of freedom as sheer impotence. I changed that. And the essence of independence as sheer abasement. Then she uses the word now is, he is struck dumb. I changed it. Now and then he is enchanted with the beauty of all glorious. She says again he is varied out with his own life. I change it. I change that. At the time he is contemptuous of his own material existence. How many a mystic tree, I change it, how many a tree of significance had this whirlwind. I change the whirlwind into blasting wind, because whirlwind does not really mean sorsor. Whirlwind means gerdabad, you know, twisted wind, whirlwind. It's Baha'u'llah uses sorsor or sarsar, the wind that we often had in my birthplace in Iran, Damghan. We have those wind, sorsor or sarsar. It would be a blasting wind. So had this whirlwind, which I changed it to blasting wind, of wonderment snatched by the root. How many a soul had it exhausted? For in this valley the traveler is flung into confusion. No, flung into upheaval. I changed the confusion into upheaval. Flung into upheaval, albeit in the eye of him who had attained such marvels or esteemed and well beloved. I changed the whole thing. I said that, albeit in the eye of the wayfarer, this process are well received and appreciated. At every moment he beholdeth a wondrous world, a new creation, and goeth from astonishment to astonishment. I change this. Goeth from astonishment to astonishment. I change it to his bewilderment multiplies and is lost in the awe at the work of the Lord of oneness. I change it. And is astonished with the new revelation of the Lord of oneness. Sun Jadid, what Baha'u'llah uses here, is definitely referred to the Baha'i faith, because everything that has been made is not Sun Jadid. Jadid means new. Sun means creation. So Sun Jadid means new creation. If it's referring to what's been created and the world's been already created, something new has been created, that would be the Baha'i faith. Or I should say it's appeared. Therefore, here it should not be said that and is lost in awe at the works of the Lord of oneness. No. And is astonished with the new revelation of the Lord of oneness. Which means astonished with the Baha'i faith. We continue. Indeed, O brother, if we ponder each created thing, we shall witness a myriad perfect wisdom and learn a myriad new wondrous truth. One of the created phenomena is the dream. Behold how many secrets are deposited therein. How many wisdom treasured up, how many world concealed. Observe how thou art asleep in a dwelling, and its doors are barred, and a sudden thou findest thyself in a far-off city, which thou enterest without moving thy feet, or varying the body. Without using thine eye thou seest, without taxing thine ears thou hearest, without a tongue thou speakest. And perchance, when 10 years are gone, thou wilt witness in the outer world. I just changed in the outer world to the word just simply in time. Thou wilt witness in time the very thing thou hast dreamed tonight. Now there are many wisdoms to ponder in the dream, which none but the people of this valley can comprehend in their true elements. First, what is this world, where without eye and ear and hand and tongue a man puts all of these to use? Second, how is it that in the outer world thou seest today the effect of a dream, when thou didst vision it in the world of asleep some 10 years past? Consider the difference between the two worlds and the mysteries which they conceal, that thou mayest attain to divine confirmation and heavenly discoveries, and enter the region of holiness. No. And enter a region of holiness, change it, and comprehend the realm of a spirit. Alright, Baha'u'llah is asking a couple of questions here. 2 questions, and he wants us to figure this out. He's alluding only the people of this valley would know this in its full element. I'm not claiming I'm in this valleys. I'm in no valleys at all. But I'm going to answer these questions. Let it remain as a pupil of Baha, a pupil of the school of the Baha'i faith, as his own answer for everyone to hear. So, let's see. The first question is, I've spoken about this before, in my a lot of videos in the past. But Baha'u'llah's first question is that, what is this world where you talk without tongue, you hear without ear, you see without eye, you move without foot? So, what is really what we see, when it happens. So, especially when it happens, there's no doubt that it is real. So the question is this: is this then the other side of the life? What we saw was real, meaning, and if we have been dead, exactly what we just saw and bring it here, would it be exactly the same thing? The answer is no. No. This cannot be the other world. It cannot be the other plane of existence, because no one has come back from it. And whoever has gone cannot come back, to tell us exactly what it is. What this is really is the world of dream. It's a transitional state between this life and other life. Okay. It is like the light. The color of light is white color. It's colorless. So that will be the reality of the next life. However, this light, when it falls into the prism in a rainbow, you can see it breaks down into many frequencies. It shows many frequencies of the color. You see, from violet to blue to indigo to red, yellow. You see all kind of color, orange. All those colors that you see are really transitional form of the true color behind, which is the white color. I remember I saw a movie, it's called The Fields of Dream. Kevin Costner, is his name? Kevin Costner, I think, yeah. This guy in the movie, watch it if you like. I wasn't planning when to watch it, just happened to be on the TV and it was showing that he had this vision that he has to build this baseball field into his land, in this property. And dead players, baseball players, are dead. They actually come out in this field and play game. And other people, they can come and watch them. That's an amazing thing, isn't it? Dead people are dead. And he's just to bankrupt, that people, they come and watch it and whatever he says. There's one part of the movie that struck me, was that Burt Lancaster, it shows in the movie, is a very young man, was picked up in the streets by somebody to come to this baseball field. And he comes in there as a young man, maybe 18, maybe 20. He's playing in that field along with the dead ghosts of the past. Outside of the field, which was not the realm of the ghost, realm of the ordinary people, the daughter of this Mr. Costner, I don't know who was the personage, she got sick and something was stuck in her throat and she was choking. The young boy player had no choice but come out of the field into the field of the people. Other players, they couldn't. They said were not permitted. However, this time this young player who was 16 and 17 just came right out to save the girl. And as soon as he comes out, he turns from 16 to some 85, 90 years old man, a doctor. The movie was trying to show the past, where he was only 16 years, turn into presently a 90 years old man. So you see, it is much like this, the things that we see. It's a sort of the metaphysics. I've spoken about metaphysics before. I'm going to give you another example. I've given him this example before, I'm going to repeat it here. Imagine you're eating green beans, those little round green ones. I like them. Now you have them on your plates. That's 100 of them. 50, 60 of them. They're scattered on the plate. If you look at it, and if you ask anybody, what do you see? They say green beans. For sure. No doubt. Now we're going to change things. We're going to use this green beans. We're not going to add to it. We're not going to change it. All we're going to do, we are going to rearrange it in such a way that we can write the word love. L, like we put these big green beans to create the word L and O and V and E. So you ask the other people, what do you see? They say green beans. What else do you see? They say, oh, funny, there's a word here. It says love. Where did love come from? These were all green beans. We use the same beans to create love. Love appeared. The word love appeared by rearranging the green beans. These green beans manifested a significance now, a meaning. But the same green beans. That's a transitional state. In order to get the meaning of love and convey it to somebody who can understand it, you had to rearrange this in order to manifest it in the form of this things. Somebody was telling me that, can you bring the spirits in this love? I told them, very simple. I just wrote a word out of rice in the plate. He said, what is that? I said, this is rice. What else? I said, oh, you wrote some word. I said, yeah, that word is the spirit coming into the matter now. You see? So, the actual love is on the other side. I don't know what it is. It's an entity. Believe me, you could buy it. It's there. Right now, to us, it looks like a significance, but they're an actual entity. In order to make it to appear, we could use the green beans in this example to write it down, to convey to somebody. He's on the other side, let's say a man and a woman, he wants to know what you're saying. You look at her and she looks at you. What do you mean when you say, I love you, and you write it that with the green beans? She read it, she get the message from you via material. So, in the next life, there is no brain, there can't be no color, there can't be no smell, none of it. In the world of the dream, we enter transition, just like the Field of the Dream, the movie. We saw things, but as soon as we come out in this life, it turns into those stories that we call it dream. Because just like a typewriter, it writes the story using your brain, your meaning, your understanding, your words. Your brains, your word, whatever you have put into it, it becomes a dictionary. The soul tries to use that dictionary to say what happened on that side. So what happens on that side is truly what you see manifested in your pictures and in your talks and in your ears. In this life, that's how it means. But on the other side, in the other side of reality, none of that exists. There's no color. If you want color, you have to have brain. You have no brain, you don't see the color. That doesn't mean you don't understand the concept of the color. It would be different, see. It has a different meaning, completely. Believe me, by this is not going to be a very dull world. No. So magnificently amazing to the soul, the comprehending soul, that any color or any taste, anything is just so amazingly nullified to that power of significance. For example, some really, really bad people, I don't want to mention any names, that are really in the nethermost of the fire. They stench, the stink of their soul is so bad that by God, nobody even can go close to them for kilometers and thousands of kilometers. It just comes right out. In here, though, you don't see it. The guy smiles, you think he's a good guy. On that side, he can't hide. The veil is off. Now he stinks. You know, some people that stink, their behavior it does, their action, it just creates such a despise in you. You see it in the next life 1,000 times or more. Much more clearer. So this was the part answer number one. What is that world then? The answer to Baha'u'llah would be, sir, my humble opinion as your pupil by studying your book is that that's a transitional state where the spiritual event gets translated using our dictionary of the brain into the stories that we see. And not all the dreams have meaning, by the way. No. We daydream every day. We sit down a minute, all this imagination comes to us. We don't like somebody or we love somebody. We make up a story that she just showed up. The stories are totally you're unaware of. And if somebody says, what were you imagining? You would just say it. This happened. That's a dream. While you're sitting here, you're dreaming. If you're asleep, you see exactly the same thing. Has it a meaning? No. Just like a writer who could write imagine things, an imaginary, or somebody like a scientist actually writing something that it has significance. We have had those dreams. It does not necessarily need to be a spiritual. There was one musicians, the Symphony of Devil or Symphony of Satan. He had a dream that devil was playing, and he gets up and remembers all the notes and he wrote it down. So the dreams could be imaginary based. It could be totally caused, not even by imagination, caused by the physicality, eating more, eating less, lack of visions, a lot of this. It could, forms and manipulated into the stories. Or it could be just sheer imagination, which 95% of them. As some of them could be thinking dreams. They're actually, you're thinking the dream and you solve a problem. You couldn't solve it otherwise in the daytime. But some of them are an actual meeting. It's no dream. You actually met somebody there. It told you something. I was listening to this fellow Ahmad. He said he was young. Remembers the name of a fellow. I think his name was Hassan, who dies, and they buried him, and entire family was having these dreams. So Hassan says, "I'm not dead. Come and pick me up." 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. In Islam, you can't just go and exhume the grave. They had to get a fatwa from some fellow. I don't know what was his name. Getting him to give the fatwa. He gave the fatwa, they opened, the guy was alive. But he was dumbfounded. For 3 months he wasn't talking. Then finally I started to talk, and he talked to this Ahmad. He said, yes, I went there. I saw certain people that they were not really people like us, and they were shouting that this is not the Hassan you were supposed to bring here. It's a wrong Hassan. This Hassan is to go back. You have to bring somebody else in. And he just said this completely happened. So the other life is very, very real, completely. So real that all of this reality that we have is not really real. What's the difference between reality and imagination? Imagination is personal. Reality, everyone can see that. You can imagine something, say others can do to imagine, they know. But say to people, okay, let's think that we're going to build a bridge. The thoughts are very similar if they're all engineers. You see? Reality is everyone can see. Imagination, only one person can see. Most of the time. Sometimes, it takes time for the people to understand the reality of a certain person, if it's a high-grade individual. But another the meaning of the imaginations and the dream is that when something ends, then it becomes imaginary. It becomes unreal. You've been given a scholarship to go and see the Emperor of Japan for 2 weeks, right out of here in Texas. And you go there 2 weeks. In there, it's totally real for you. You saw everyone, everything. You come back here, after a month or two, you're back to US, things gradually turns into be not real even. That wasn't real. because the reality is here. That was just like an imagination. It happened, but it wasn't real. This is what you're living, real. So this life is real when you're in it, but as soon as you wake up on the other side, and totally in a state like in a hospital basically, and you open your eyes, and you say, where I am. They tell you, okay, you're fine, no, you're good. You look at yourself, you're not sick, hopefully. Some could be. And some of them, they operate on them, they die. Some, they're okay. So let's say you're okay, you come out and you say, well, why am I here in a hospital setting or something? And all of a sudden you see Yul Brynner pass by. You say, oh my God, Yul Brynner is dead. What is he? Then you ask the guy, are we dead? He says, are we? You say, no, I'm not dead. But that guy is dead. Oh, is this the other world? They say, yes, you are in. The world was the other side that I was in. They showed the belly of a woman. It was all in there. It was your mother. It just came out of it. Like a cocoon. You can try to contact the people that are here. They're all sleeping. You can't talk to them. You can't wake them up also. You want to convey a message to them, it's very difficult. In some cases, it's very close to you. If you whirl around their head too much and this and that, finally they hear you something. That's why the, relatives, for the first or second day, they see this kind of dreams, and that transition, they can see it. So, and then you say, oh my God, this is real. That's not real. No. Yeah. Then you find out the reality is in. You wake up. It is like waking up. It wasn't that you are dreaming actually. No, this life is just real. But as real as Baha'u'llah says in the matrix of the mother. And you come up. You don't have faculties to live on the other side. You're in big trouble. Huge trouble. But who did that? Yourself. Your computer, which is your body, died out, taken away. Now the software or the file, your name on it is written. Who has written the file? Yourself. If it is relevant to that life, you're okay. If it's not, you're in a problem. I give an example before, like a Chinese man coming to China from China to Canada has billions of them Chinese money. He thinks he's so rich, he has bags and bags of it. He comes to the airport, they don't even bother him. He goes buy coffee, gives the money, they tell him they don't accept the money. He goes to a bank, they say, sorry, we don't understand this. We don't have this paper money. Chinese money is not acceptable in Canada. Then he finds out all his effort and all his money and all what he did worth nothing. This other gentleman, who knew us to come to Canada, instead he went and learned English, because he knew where he's going. All the Chinese people, they were laughing at him. Why are we learning English to China? He says, you don't know. And then he started to learn carpentry, plumbing, something that fits North America. And people said, why are you learning something that doesn't exist here? But he was. When he comes to Canada, all of a sudden he speaks English and he knows plumbing, he's got a job. He brought material in the form of non-material installed in his brain. That's how it works, folks. Okay, the second set of questions. That's Baha'u'llah's asking. Oh, so Baha'u'llah's asking also the second questions. And that is, how is it that you see something in the past, and all of a sudden it comes true? What we're talking about, prophetic dreams, I've already explained that before. We're essentially speaking of the element of time being eliminated. If there is no time in a zone, timeless zone, then the events are beginning and an end. All of it. They are like a Halley comet. The guy is born and you can see the tail end of his life. The whole thing is like a comet. From the day he comes, from the day he goes. You see the whole thing. As long as there's no time. then the events are always clear. Not for everyone. For those who have the eyes, those who have brain, those who have capacities. Okay, it's not clear to everyone, no. If you're appearing in the next life without eye, without ear, without any faculties, you look like a piece of a stone. People use you to build building and they don't know even if you're a man. Why? Because you are not able to listen to anything spiritual, you cannot be able to hear it, you can't see it, therefore you will be a stone in the next life. But if you have the faculties, yes, you can see. Let me give you an example how we can eliminate time in the relative planes. So sometimes, let's say I'm going from the city of Toronto to Vancouver. Gosh, about 3,500 kilometers, 4,000 or 5,000 kilometers, more 5,000 kilometers. It's going to take me, I'm a fast driver, it's going to take me still 1 week to get there. So, when I'm in Toronto, Vancouver is 7 days away from me. All the events that are in the way are obscure. I do not know them. Now, this point A, this point B. I'm in the A, I don't know what the point B is. But this fellow is in the helicopter, the point C, on a satellite. He looks at point A I am, he knows where I'm heading. He exactly can see everything that is going to happen to me. If there's a snow, if there's rain, if the road is wrecked, if there's a fire, what are the name of the cities, everything. He comes down from point of the sea in front of me. He says, oh, you're going to see all of that. I say, are you prophet? I says, at your plane of existence, yes. But where I am, I don't need prophet to be a prophet. I just see it. So A doesn't know B, but C knows both. This is how events can be seen for the people of the faculty, who have the faculties. Okay. Those are the answer to these questions. Okay. So I've written some more things. Yeah, I've given a few other examples. Just like a person says 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, a mathematician, he knows automatically after 10 is going to be 12 and 14 and 16 and 18. It's kind of, you can see where the trend goes. Just by using the mathematics, you know, after 1 hour, what number this fellow is going to see. The important part is that you have the brain and the computer that it could be used to see these things. If it is not fully loaded and it has not all the proper pictures, proper information, a soul cannot make up their story if it's bad. So, this is the answer to these questions. I'm going to jump back to see where I was. Right. I'm on my page, second page, and we continue this valley of bewilderment. God the Exalted had placed these signs in men to the end that the philosophers, a wrong word, that the scholars, I change it to scholars, because Baha'u'llah says muhakkak means the scholars. Philosophers means filsuf, so scholars. That the scholars may not deny the mysteries of the life beyond, nor belittle that which had been promised them. For some hold to the reason and deny whatever the reason comprehended not. And yet, weak minds can never grasp the matters which we have related, but only the supreme divine intelligence can comprehend them. Intelligence, not intelligent. There is such an intelligence divine that we could possess it, all of us. Poem translated, how can feeble reason encompass the Quran, which is the book of God, or the spider snare a phoenix in his web? All these states are to be witnessed in the valley of wonderment, which is in the valley of bewilderment. And the traveler at every moment seeketh for more, and is not varied. Varied. Very wrong, hard word for me. Thus the Lord of the first and the last. This Lord of the first and the last is Prophet Muhammad. In setting forth the grades, I translated the levels, of contemplation and expressing wonderment, had said, O Lord, increase my astonishment at thee. Here, the word astonishment is used for the same word here, and it's correct, astonishment. Astonished when they show you something. Bewildered is when you do not know anything. Likewise, reflect upon the perfections of man's creation, and that all these planes and estates are folded up and hidden away within him. Thus thou reckon thyself only a puny form, when within thee the universe is folded. This is from the Imam Ali, the successors of Muhammad. He has written this. Then we must labor to destroy the animal condition. Wrong word. We must labor to destroy the animalistic desires, till the meaning of humanity shall come to light. Thus too, Lockman, here it says Lockman, based on the evidences that I have seen describing these elusive characters, which, by the way, there's a chapter in his name in Quran, is actually a reference to philosophers in antiquity. And I'm very sure this Lockman is the same Aesop's that we know. Aesop's fables, you must know what they are. This Lockman sounds to be very exactly the same thing, because in many definitions they say he was a slave that was freed, and he was so and so. Thus too Lockman, who had drunk from the wellspring of wisdom and tasted of the waters of mercy, no, change mercy to grace, the waters of grace, and proving to his son, the word is Nathan, here it says Nathan, the planes of resurrection and death advance the dream as an evidence and as an example. We relate it here, that through this evanescent servant, a memory may endure of that youth of the school of divine unity. May remain of that youth. Baha'u'llah says I'm mentioning something, so you remember I said something. Of divine unity, and I just put the and in the middle myself, and that elder of the art of instructions and absolute. This she thus likes to bring this word absolute for the word tajreed, which really it's singleness, is not absolute. I changed it. The art of instruction in the absolute. I said that elder of educational grades of divinity. Okay, he said, O son, if thou art able not to sleep, then thou art able not to die. And if thou art able not to waken up after sleep, then thou shalt be able not to rise after death. For those days, it's pretty wise, isn't it? O friend, the heart is dwelling of the eternal mysteries. Make it not the hope of the fleeting fancies. Waste not the treasure of thy precious life in the employment with this swiftly passing world. Thou comest, I changed that the word comest, thou originated from the world of holiness. Bind not thine heart to the earth. Thou art a dweller in the court of nearness. Choose not the homeland of dust. It's a big advice, How many times we are under the illusion of poverty or under the illusion of wealth? You see, many of these rich people, they are like a slot machine. The whole life to them is a casino. The pleasure is to win. For what? They don't know. If they want to be educated, even to understand what pleasures are, they need to go through classes and classes to learn how to fly or to ride a boat, a horse, fly a plane, so many things. But yet they all keep having this money. This is an addiction. It's not really desires of the wealth. Baha'u'llah says, I understand it. I was talking today to Scott and I said, look, we in the North America, between us and Mr. Bill Gates, I'm not saying Rockefeller now because he's dead, what are really the differences? He lives, we live. He sleeps in a bed, we do. He has some cars to go around, we have a car. Not as good as his, or we take a bus, still can go around. When you look at it, there's not much of a difference. Same police, same education, same medical in Canada anyways. It's all the same. Is it worth it that much to pay for getting things that you can't use? And well, he said that, they're not paying, they're just getting. I said, no. They are paying the biggest possible price for this extra wealth. And he said, what is the price? I said, the price of your life. You let go of the 20 and 30 and 40. You employed yourself like a slave to get the money. When you got the money, now you're old, you can't even use it. You see this? It's the biggest possible price that you put yourself, you sold yourself. We hear these movies, the guy sold his soul for money for this. That's exactly the truth. You sold your soul, 24 hours busy to make money. And that sometimes you got so much addicted that you can do anything else but that. And you think the life looks, time is eternal, till you become 55 like me. And you wake up, everywhere aches. Then you know, what have you done to become 55? Thanks God, that I did not go. Many people told me that, do this and that and that. I told them I like to do it, except that it's going to take so much of my time that I have to kill a boss and turn him into Tony. Then I don't know what boss is. I said, no, I'm going to divide the time, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. 5 o'clock in the afternoon till 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm a boss. 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock, I will be Tony. I make the money, but I will not let Tony to infringe on our boss. Or on our boss infringe on Tony. Both of them are needed. I gotta have this, but you want me to enjoy my life as Tony. I can't. You want me to change my reality into a persona of a movie character. I live in that. Wasn't that the Robert Stack? His wife says that he would answer to Elliot Ness all the time because he played that character so much that he followed Elliot Ness all the time. So that's what, to think about this. Are we really poor or we're not? If we are healthy, my God, we are then rich. We are wealthy if you're healthy. If you don't feel it, then you've lost your perception, your conceptions. You are reading wrong books, you are reading wrong dictionaries, and you don't understand the significance. With all your health, you feel depressed. You shouldn't be. All right, stop this admonishing business and let's continue to the last few lines. In some, there is no end to description of these stages, but because of the wrongs inflicted by the people of the earth, no, the word earth is wrong, by the people of the time, this servant is in no mood to continue. No, this servant is not in a joyous mood. Not in the mood to continue. Baha'u'llah will continue no matter what mood. The tale is still unfinished and I have no heart for it. Then pray, forgive me. What does that mean? Okay, I changed it. The words remained unfinished and incomplete. I have no heart for it. Accept my apology. Ma'zur means apology. Okay? The pen groaneth, and the ink sheddeth tears, and the river of the heart moveth in waves of blood. Nothing can befall us but what God had destined for us. Peace be upon him who followeth the right path. Very well. Oh Lord. Do I regret in my life of the things that I haven't done? Am I satisfied? No, I'm not. Am I happy? Not really. I'm very sad. Because Baha'u'llah is not happy, because many people in the world are not happy. How can all my body crying and one cell here laughs at the rest? It's not possible. So I have become who I am, and these videos are my will, my testament, the chronicles, my itineraries, where I have been, what I have thought, what I have learned. Am I satisfied with this? Not really. Could I do something better, that I have more money today, that I could do the other things? Brothers, sisters, impossible. If I wanted to waste my time anymore towards the money, I would have not known what I know today. I simply would not be. So, what do? I just need, I don't know if I have time anymore or not, because Shoghi Effendi died in 1957, when he was 57, and I was born in 1956, and I am 56, so next year, around March or June, it might end, my first term has come. The mortgage is finished, the term has come. Some people on the earth, they could demand my program, my existence to stay. Then I will stay more. Otherwise, I have to go. So, is it any more pleasureful to stay? And not really with this body so badly, you know. No, I don't. But the sense of duty and the sense of happiness, I want to see this granddaddy of the world, Baha'u'llah, if he can smile and says, wow, my cultivation had one fruit came up. You know, if I can make him to smile a bit, ooh, that's worth a lot to me. For that I'm ready to employ my rest of this life to go on to the second level, which I like to, again, change Canada into the Baha'i faith. By Lord of the Universe, by Abdu'l-Baha, swear to Bob, I am able to do it. But it's a job offer, it's a position, people would want to do it. I cannot just simply go, I'm a contractor, I cannot just go renovate some house that I see so bad. I need permission from the people to say that they need help. It does not need to be all the people of the world, but even few that are able to help, to come up and say that yes, we want to do it, I will start the network that I want to. I will raise students, which I will take them to Baha'u'llah. They become certified Baha'i by him. The teachers that they understand nothing but the cause. And I can raise among those Canadians. I've done this test 25 years ago, 16 years ago. I've done it, it worked. And I saw these kids are totally capable. In Canada they are. Persians, they're not. I'm sorry. In Canada, Canadian kids, they're able. And those who are on welfare, have no money, they're able. Those groups, they can do it. And we can turn things around. If somebody wants it. If they don't want it, then I will have to leave, doesn't it? Makes sense. Because I won't be able to tell you much more than this that I've said. I feel I'm regurgitating already. My story is not to come and put everything on the floor. My story is that I created these videos to let you to think and look at the different scientific eyes, analytical eyes at the things, and maybe you can have your own videos and your explanations to all the people of the earth. Oh, Baha'u'llah, the Lord of the universe, the Father of mankind.